What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, the videos about those press conferences continue as there are interesting things in relation to the fit of both DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. Both individuals were asked about this question. Obviously, both of them giving respect to each other, which is absolutely expected. Again, I don't think you're going to come into a Chicago Bulls end to the season interview and have DeMar DeRozan talk trash about Zach LaVine and Zach LaVine talk trash about DeMar DeRozan. It's just never going to happen. But at the end of the day, there was always that question, and it was constantly asked about whether or not the fit between Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan actually works, and I guess that's where this video is going to be. We're going to be discussing whether or not the fit with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan truly works, and what I think can be done to ensure that it does work in the future, because a lot of people might not think it will happen, but there is a good possibility, I would say, that DeMar DeRozan will still be here next season, and most definitely Zach LaVine will probably be here next season as well. So whether or not the fit works right now or not, I think that's easily an answer that we can give. But at the end of the day, it's going to have to try to find a way to work next season. So yeah, that's where this video is going to be, and that's what this video is going to be about. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to The Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you believe DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine does fit together, I guess, in a cohesive unit. Do they gel well together? Now, I must also admit, a long time ago now, this was a question of discussion. It was. Before we signed, or actually during the time we signed DeMar DeRozan, remember that ESPN list, I think it was. I can't remember what list it was, but it was basically saying DeMar DeRozan was the worst free agent signing of the entire free agency period, and that was because the Chicago Bulls signed him. Of course, it was 3 years, 28 million, something along those lines. And one of the key arguments there is that they didn't believe DeMar DeRozan worked well with Zach LaVine. Now, till this day, I will defend DeMar DeRozan and say he is far from the worst free agency signing in that point. Again, the guy nearly was in competition for an MVP last season, and he's come into this season, and although it's not been better than last year, it's still probably one of his best seasons in his entire NBA career, the way that he played this season. So again, I'm not going to sit here and take that DeMar DeRozan was the worst free agency signing. He wasn't. He just wasn't. And I'm not really going to argue that point. But that, I guess, conversation of gelling well with Zach LaVine, it's still a valid point till this day. That is probably the only validation an article like that can get out of the situation, because there is still conversations about the fit between Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. And if there wasn't a conversation at this point, I think we can all safely say that the gel and I guess the way the team was playing would be successful, because then no one would be talking about it. No one would really remember it. People would forget about this situation. But as long as the conversations are still there, as long as reporters are still asking the questions about the fit between Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and the fit between the entire Chicago Bulls team, then it's clear that the chemistry is not necessarily where it needs to be, and the gellingness of the team isn't where it needs to be either. Here's what I have to say about the situation. I think one of the quotes that DeMar DeRozan said, and I don't remember the exact word-for-word quote, but I think this specifies exactly how I feel about the situation. It was along the lines of saying, you can talk about the gellingness of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan all you like, but essentially there are 5 players on the court, and it's all about playing, gelling all 5 people in the same team. And I think that is absolutely spot on. I understand a lot of people will have the heavy impressions on Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan because they are the 2 best players on the team. DeMar DeRozan, a veteran, has had multiple All-Star appearances, has been in very big playoff moments and stuff of that nature. Zach LaVine, upcoming star, I would say, at least at the time. Obviously, he was coming off of an injury this season, but again, is an all-star, has really, really good scoring numbers, a very good offensive player, slowly improving his defense as well, and is our max contract guy. So at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, he probably is the guy that we're paying the big bucks to take us into the future. Again, we'll have to wait and see if that's successful or not. But again, I understand why all the pressure is going to be put on them, because they're the leaders and they're the best players. It makes sense in that department, but there are 3 other guys in the team, in the starting lineup as well. It's not just those 2. And I feel like the entire fit of the team, the entire way this team was constructed, was a problem to begin with. Last season, or 2 seasons ago, let's say, the Chicago Bulls finished 6th in the Eastern Conference. We had a great start, a terrible finish, and we got humiliated by the Bucks in the playoffs, out in the first round. All right? In that situation, I remember countless videos, truly countless videos, talking about a rim protector. I was talking about it in relation to the NBA draft. I was talking about it in relation to free agency signings. I was talking about guys like Mo Bamba, Isaiah Hartenstein. I think I mentioned Andre Drummond at some point. I was talking about all these guys, even Hassan Whiteside. I mentioned Hassan Whiteside. I was talking about all these rim protectors that could be in the Chicago Bulls team, and we didn't really get a rim protector. That is a big topic of discussion. We talked about the shooting of the team. We were talking about getting shooters left, right, and center. We were talking about guys like Duncan Robinson. We were talking about guys, I can't remember all the guys. At one point, it was even mentioned about Grayson Allen. I know a lot of people were talking about Grayson Allen joining the Chicago Bulls at some point. And again, that's how desperate we were in need of a shooter. People were willing to just let bygones be bygones and allow someone that hurt one of our better players to join the team. Some people were really discussing these things. So again, in this type of situation, that was how desperate we needed a shooter. And where was the shooter? Goran Dragic was the shooting player that we brought into the team. So again, we could have fixed a lot of these issues well before we came into this season. We could have got a shooter. I understand we tried to get Gallinari and it didn't work out. I understand that. But we still could have got a shooter in other ways. We still could have got a rim protector in other ways. We had a pick in the NBA draft in which we selected Dalen Terry. And don't get me wrong, I'm happy with Dalen Terry, but he's not a rim protector and he's not necessarily a terrific three-point shooter either. So those two areas were not fixed. So we had ways to fix this team and to fix the certain problems that this team has. But lo and behold, this season, the big topic of discussions we're going to be talking about in the off-season are the fact that we need shooting and we need rim protection. Those were the exact same conversations we had last season. So again, as much as all the pressure should be on Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and their fit together, it's not the whole conversation, is it? Because let's be honest, we've had fit problems for a long time now, and it doesn't always involve DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine. So I will come to the defense of that partnership because there were so many problems that we had beforehand that we never addressed, and that's why all the pressure is piling on them as a partnership. But again, it's also not to say that this partnership worked out incredibly well, has it? Now, they both have played individually well, but playing together, that is another topic of conversation. It feels like when those two play together, it's my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. The best things I've seen in terms of a partnership category between Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan is when one is willing to take the back seat and let the other one shine. Most of the time, that's DeMar DeRozan in the first season. In the second season, it was a little bit of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. I think they both did a little bit better in that department. But in transition, I think the best partnership between Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan has been in transition. How many times did you see Zach LaVine pass to DeMar DeRozan for an easy open dunk in transition? How many lobs have you seen Zach LaVine get from a DeMar DeRozan pass? That is where the best partnership between these two, that's when the best style of play between these two comes to light, in my humble opinion. And it's so crazy because we're really, really slow. But when we actually want to run, that's where the best real product comes from, both of those guys playing together. But we don't do it enough. And again, that does come down to coaching, in my opinion, as well. It comes down to not being willing to run. It comes down to the fact that we're trying to slow everything down constantly because we have a lot of slow players just as much as we have a lot of fast players. So yeah, look, it's frustrating. I get it. And the partnership is not perfect. But I'm not going to sit here and say that that partnership is the sole reason why the Bulls sucked this season. There are a lot of reasons why the Bulls suck this season, and the partnership is part of it, of course. But again, not fixing certain issues. Obviously, coaching problems as well. And look, I made a whole video talking about what we learned from the Chicago Bulls this season. A lot of it also has to be improving on this team. And that's where I think a lot of people are really missing the point of talking about the fit. It's not just two guys. You can't win a championship 2v5. It's a 5v5 system. And although the superstar players I guess, a present there with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, where's the supporting cast around them? And I don't think the supporting cast really suits the style that we need to play with. We need three-point shooting on this team, but our supporting cast is not shooting threes consistently and are not making threes consistently. We need rim protection, and our supporting cast is not really providing that at an elite level. So again, so many questions, so many discussions on the partnership. I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying the partnership was amazing. It wasn't amazing, let's be honest. They're both really strong individual players. They're both isolation players in my eyes. I think Zach LaVine works more within our system, which is why a lot of people want to keep Zach LaVine. But when you think of it, both of them are really isolation players. Zach LaVine just uses the pick and roll, or he just drives to the basket at will. DeMar DeRozan is a try to take advantage of a mismatch, shoot the mid-range, stuff like that, maybe enter the post. They're not amazingly solid team players together, and I think it comes down to both of them. But yeah, individually they work well by themselves, but I wouldn't necessarily say they work together well as a team. But I wouldn't put that down on just them. I guess that's what the point of this video is going to be. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I do feel like DeMar DeRozan is right. You got to talk about 5 people on the court. You can't just keep talking about the only 2. And yes, there are big key players. Maybe there are trades that needs to happen. Maybe we do need to, I guess, overturn some of the decisions we've made. Maybe we need to make big decisions on the big 3 and stuff of that nature. But there is a supporting cast there, ladies and gentlemen. We can't forget about their responsibility in this whole thing as well. And I think it's also a big part of why we're talking about a partnership. If we were sitting here with one of the best three-point shooting, or not even the best, if we were somewhat of an average three-point shooting team in terms of the NBA standard, and we had three-point shooters on this team that was consistently letting it fly, consistently going in between like a 37-38% on around 4 attempts per game, what Lonzo Ball was, by the way. Lonzo Ball, I don't know how many attempts from 3 he actually took, but he was well over 40%. If we had Lonzo Ball on this team, or someone that can just shoot the 3 ball at a level that Lonzo Ball could have, no one was really talking about the partnership with Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. So again, it comes down to finding the fits for this team, and we need to keep on working on it. And the Bulls not doing it last season, in my opinion, is a big reason why we're making this video today. So that's, I guess, my video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. A little bit all over the place, but again, there's no script in front of me. I don't have notes. I don't have everything I need to talk about and stuff like that. This is 100% off the cuff. This is my own thoughts and opinions, and sometimes things come to me. Sometimes things I let slip by, and it is what it is. I think that's very, very important to why I make these videos, because I want it to be real and authentic, and I want to make... I want to talk about my mind and what I think, and some things you just can't write on a piece of paper and expect to remember. So yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Altogether though, it is what it is. Hopefully you understood the concept of this video. I repeated it a couple of times, so I'm sure you're well aware of what my point of view is. But again, we need to improve this team. And if that's dissolving the partnership, then so be it. But I won't sit here and say that's the only reason why the Bulls suck this season. It's just not true in my eyes. But to answer the kind of question, does the fit work? I think it can work, but you need to have the team around them. Simple as that. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.